Yeah, so I love the Babylock Altair. It's a great sewing machine and embroidery machine, and it's perfect whether you're a beginning sewer or embroiderer, or whether you're an advanced sewer or embroiderer. And you guys are going to have to forgive me. I'm having to present this from my kitchen because my internet wasn't working in my sewing room. So here we are in my kitchen, and it might be a little echoey, and I apologize for that. But first, let me take you over to the machine so that you can see, I can show you some of the cool things that it does. And so what I'm going to do is, for the first half of the show, I'm going to give you my 5 favorite things about the embroidery side of the machine. And then for the second half of the show, I'm going to give you my 5 favorite things about the sewing side of the machine. This machine does all sorts of wonderful things. So give me just a second to switch cameras, and I will see you over there at the machine. All right, so here we are at the sewing at the Altair machine. And you can see first, let me move this around so that you can actually see how big this machine is, okay? Because the very first thing that I'm going to talk to you about is how big the machine is. The sheer size of not only, I'm going to put this on sewing so that you can kind of see this. Okay, look at that bed. All right, that's so big. And so you can leave that on there when you're doing your sewing. This machine has 11.25 inches between the needle and the machine head, so that you can fit any size quilt in there whenever you're, using the machine as a quilting machine. The other thing that's pretty fantastic about this machine is this LCD screen, which is 10.1 inches. And I'm not sure if you can get a sense of how big that is. It's like an iPad, okay? It's about the size of an iPad. And honestly, it works very much like an iPad. The other thing that I love about the largeness and bigness of this machine is that it comes with this ginormous hoop, okay? And this is a 14 by 9 inch hoop. Oh, it's kind of hard to see, isn't it? It's so big, it's hard to get it on the camera. Got to pull my camera way up. So that's 14 inches by 9.5 inches. And you can see these kind of funny little designs up here. That's for our really cool app that we have that enables you to perfectly position your embroidery. And I'll show you how that works in just a little bit, okay? But let's just get back to my favorite thing, number 1, which is size. And we've talked about the size of the screen. We've talked about the size of the machine bed. Now let's talk about the sheer number of designs on this machine. There are 494 embroidery designs on this machine. So you really never run out of designs. So let's take a look at some of these designs. So you can see right here, sewing, embroidery, IQ designer. And we're going to talk about that IQ designer in just a few minutes. So here's the embroidery side. All right, so I just started the machine, so it's going to give me just a second. It's got to adjust itself so that it can embroider perfectly. So you can see that we have first the exclusive designs, and these are designs that are available only in Babylock machines. Okay, let me pull it back a little bit so that you can see all of this. I want to make sure you can see the top and the bottom of the screen. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can see that, so each of these has several designs in it. These are lovely designs, but let me show you what happens whenever you touch one of these designs. The machine tells you all sorts of really cool things. So let's just pull out this design right here, okay? So what this tells us is that it's 7.59 inches high, 7.72 inches wide, okay? So you have an idea there of what hoop you can use it in, right? So our 4 hoops that come with the machine are the 14-inch by 9.5, and then we have a wonderful 9.5 by 9.5 inch hoop that is great for quilting. All right, so look at this one, and you can kind of see, I'm giving you an 8 by, you can see a piece of paper, what a piece of paper looks like. I'm sorry for the camera here. Can you see that? Oh dear, that's not what I want you to see. The hoop. These hoops are so big, it's hard to fit them in the camera. Okay, 9.5 by 9.5 is what that is. So one of the 4 hoops that come with the machine is the 9.5 by 9.5. All right, so let's go back to the screen so we know that that's what it's going to fit in. The screen also tells us exactly how many minutes it's going to take to stitch out this design. It's also going to give us a choice of background. So if I'm going to embroider this on white fabric, then I have this white background. But let's say I want to embroider it on a medium color fabric, and we can see how the design looks on that. Or what about if I want to put it on a black fabric? Oh yeah, see, that's not going to work on black. So let's go back to the white. I know that I'm going to have to use a light colored fabric. It tells me all of the different colors. It also tells me how many minutes each color is going to take. Okay. All right. So let's go back. Let's just say that and also the other thing this does is this lets me flip it. So if I want to flip it to, if I want to make two of them, right, and put one flip to the left and one flip to the right, then I can do like a cute wall hanging. Okay, so let's say we're going to set this. Once I put it into my embroidery screen, we have a ton of different choices that we can make. Okay, so let me pull that back again so that you can see the entire screen. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So you can see up here that this is going to show me the design inside the hoop. So let's see what this looks like inside of my hoop. All right. That's the design inside of the 9.5 by 14 inch hoop. But I like to use the hoop size that is closest to the size of the design. So let's go down to the 9.5 by 9.5, and that's going to be perfect. This would be a great quilt square, wouldn't it? And I'm going to show you how you can take this design into IQ Designer, and you can actually quilt around the design. So the other thing this is going to show us is it's going to show us how quickly it stitches, okay? So watch the screen so that you can see what stitches first, what stitches second. I love that. I think that's so cool. Okay, good. And then if you want to look at the stitches a little bit more closely, you can enlarge it, and then you get a sense of what type of stitches we have. So you've got satin stitches over here. You've got fill stitches right here. These are satin stitches and some more fill stitches. All right, so let's go back. Okay, also on this screen, you can see that what we have selected, okay, is 7.59 by 7.72. Now, if we were to choose and add another design, it would show us the size of whatever design is selected in that red box, and that's very helpful, okay? The next thing that we're going to do is, you can enlarge it. So if you want to see it a little bit bigger, see up close, you can go all the way up to 200%. Okay, and then let's look at some of these cool editing features. Okay, so let's start right here. Okay, and the first thing that I want to talk about is size. Okay, size is a really important factor whenever the size of the design becomes a very important factor. And also, it's super important. I just put my microphone in the way. Wait just a second. Let's move it around. It's super important that when you resize a design, that you resize that design in a way that does not make the stitches all funky, okay? So if you use this special built-in stitch regulator right here, what this is going to do is it's going to resize, and it's going to also increase or decrease the stitches that will make the design stitch out absolutely perfectly, okay? So let's look at this. Let's look at how big you can make this design. You can go up like 200%, okay? And then at the same, on the making it smaller side, you can make it go down 60%. Okay, so let's say you wanted to fit this into a 5 by 7 inch hoop instead of that 9.5 by 9.5 inch hoop. You've reduced it, and you know that the stitches are going to still look good because you've used the side of the sizing that enables the stitches to change. So you can see now we've got 4.56 by 4.63. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, all right, so let's look at some other things that we can do in editing. You can see right here that you can move it up, you can move it down, sideways. And then if you just want to center it again, you just press the center right there. Okay, so let's touch okay. The other thing you can do, of course, is rotate it. Not that we need to rotate this, but let's say that you wanted to, that you had hooped something and you'd hooped it sideways. You can always rotate it so that it'll be right there. Okay. All right. So let's go back. And again, you can center your design right here. Okay. Now let's look at some of the other editing features. This one right here is pretty cool, but this design is kind of big. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do this. You can make an actual border here, okay? Let's go out of this and let's get a smaller design, and let's look at how that border feature works, okay? So I'm going back to embroidery and look at all these choices again. We've got all these flowers. I like this little gnome. He's pretty cute. Let's play with this gnome for a little bit, okay? All right, so you can see he's kind of tiny. He's 3.69 by 1.90. It takes about 15 minutes to stitch him out. And you can see these are all the colors, the color changes that we're going to do. So let's touch set on this. Now let's go into our edit and let's make him smaller. And let's use the resize key that actually changes the stitches. And the way you know that is it's got that little zigzag stitch right there. Okay, and that tells you that it's resizing not just the design, but also the stitches. So let's make him smaller. Okay, there's our little gnome. All right, now I'm going to touch OK. I'm going to touch this right here. Okay, now this is a really, really cool tool because you can actually make a border out of any design that is in this machine. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to add this little guy, okay? So that tells me that I can't add any more above. Let's see if we can add some below. Oh, yeah, okay. Now let's say that we want to make a square. Doesn't like that. Okay, so we're going to move it over. Let's add. Doesn't like that either, okay? If you're trying to do too much, it won't let you do it, okay? So let's, whenever you stitch this out, the cool thing about this is that whereas you could have like 8 thread changes, 8 thread changes, 8 thread changes, what the machine does is that it puts all the thread changes together so that you'll only have 8 total thread changes for this entire design. I love that. I think that's really fun. Okay, we're gonna undo all of that. So look at this cool undo button. You see that undo button right there? If you mess things up and you don't like the way it looks, all you got to do is touch your undo button and it's undone. Okay. Now, another thing that you can do, is you can change the density. So we've made this guy really small. And let's get our magnifier a little bit so that we can see this a little bit better. Okay. So we've made this guy really small. And what we wanted, let's say we want to put this guy on a t-shirt. So in order to put him on a t-shirt, we don't want it to bunch up. And so we want to reduce the density. So all we have to do is reduce the density. Okay. On the other hand, if we're putting it on a woven fabric, a very tightly woven fabric, then we can increase that density. Okay. And you can see how he's filled in a little bit more. Okay. All right, let's touch OK here. And then let's touch our edit screen again. And let's look at some of the other features that we have. Let's say that we just want to copy the guy, okay? And we just want to put him over here, all right? And maybe we want to copy him again and give him a brother, okay? So now we have triplets. So that's just the copy command. Let's delete that. I'm going to undo that. Okay, one more. Okay. Now, what if you think he's so cute that you think that you might want to make an applique out of this guy? So here we go, making an applique out of him. All right, now we've created an applique, and whenever you actually stitch this out, it's going to show you how to make the applique. So let's go all the way down here. We're going to go forward several colors. Or let's go backwards because it's easier to go backwards. Okay, so you can see after you've stitched the guy out, you're going to create an applique. So there's your cut line, all right? And then so you're going to take this and put wherever you want to put this on, right? You're going to put it in your hoop. and that's going to be your outline where you're going to put your little guy, and then there's your satin stitches. Okay, so it's super easy to make an applique out of any design that is built into this machine. Okay, so let's go back. I'm going to return. I'm going to undo the little applique. Okay, so because there's one more thing I want to show with you with this guy. Okay, so and that is how easy it is to change colors, right? So I'm going to make him bigger because I think this guy is really cute, and I want to turn him into Santa Claus. Okay, see, he's got that little beard, those little cheeks. I want to give him like a little red button nose, and I want to make everything on here red. So I'm going to touch OK, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to touch my thread colors. Okay, now there are a couple of things that we can do in this color visualizer. Okay, so you can manually change his color. So let's say that I'm going to change his little shoes and I'm going to make them red. I mean, his little pants, and make them red and make everything red. Let's say I'm just going to make everything red. Okay. All right, here we go. Make his little shoes red. Okay. But let's say that I just kind of want to see what he looks like in different colors. Okay. So I'm going to touch the color visualizer, and I'm going to touch random, and then I'm going to touch manual, and then I'm going to choose the colors that I want him to be. Okay, and I'm just going to choose all these reds, and let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to touch OK. Okay, here's my little guy in a bunch of reds. That looks awful. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that. That looks terrible. Okay, but let's say that let me let the machine do it on its own. Okay, so watch this. This is very much fun whenever you're decorating your house. Okay, so let me show you this right here. Let me go back home, and I want to show you a fun one. So let's say that the colors in your house are light green and light blue, and you want to find a design that'll go in your living room that is light blue and light green. All right. So let's go to, let's see, okay, let's go to novelty. Okay. So this is just some of the built-in designs. I love the library one, the books one, but let's look at this hope one. Okay. Now, I love that saying, right? I love hope, but my colors are light green and light blue, and that does not look so good. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my color visualizer, and I'm going to ask it to make it light blue and light green. So let's go right in here, and in my color visualizer, I'm going to choose random again. I'm going to choose manual, and this time I'm going to go to a light blue. I'm going to go to this sort of sea blue and then this sea green. Okay, that might be too close together. Let's see. Let's go there. Okay. All right, now I'm going to touch OK. And see what it does? It gives me a few variations using those colors. Okay. Now, let's see. I think I like this one best. So look at that. Isn't that pretty? So now I can simply set. And if I want to do, a set of pillows using another design, then I can do exactly the same thing. I can change my color palette based on the color scheme that I want in my bedroom or my living room, or if you're making a gift for somebody. It just makes it really easy. Okay. What about we want to take this same design, and maybe we would like to, I don't know, let's put a stippling around it. Okay. Well, we can do that a couple of ways. If I just go in and I touch this stippling, okay, then it's going to automatically put the stippling in. All right. Let's say that, it's okay. I mean, I'm okay with that. I don't love it though. I really would like a different kind of design around that. So I'm going to touch cancel. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over into my IQ designer, and I'm going to choose my own region fills or type of stippling to go around my hope sign. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to touch this little flower, okay? And then I'm going to look at it, make sure it's okay, and that looks very good. I like the way that looks. I'm going to put it in my memory. I'm going to, it says recall from IQ Designer stamp pattern. And what this is doing is it's showing me where in IQ Designer I'm going to be able to find this. So I'll go to IQ Designer and then I'll look for this icon in IQ Designer. I'll touch that icon and then I'll find my hope outline. So let's touch OK. And so I'm going to touch Add and I'm going to touch IQ Designer. And then I'm going to look for that same icon. Okay. All right. So here is the icon right there. Okay. And now I'm going to look for that second. I'm going to make sure that y'all can see this. Let me back up just a little bit. So you've got the whole, okay. Then I'm going to find that original icon and I'm going to touch that. And there's my hope. Okay. So I'm going to touch hope. I'm going to touch OK. And then I'm going to choose a background fill. Okay. So this right here, we're going to come back to IQ in just a few minutes, but right now I just want to show you how to do the background fill or the stippling around any design in your embroidery side of your machine. So I'm going to touch this. And then I'm going to touch region fill. See, I could just choose a regular stippling design, or I could choose this one. So that one, whenever we touch that, look what happens. Okay, it shows us that we can select different designs. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to find a design that I think would look good around my hope. So let's see, how about, I always love flowers. So let me choose these roses to go around my hope. But I want to show you something else. This right here is, you can use this to make your own quilted fabric, which is really fun. Okay, but let me show you this. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's touch roses. And I'm going to touch OK. And then I need to choose a color. I think I'll choose a light blue because that's sort of in my color palette. Maybe a light green, either one of those. I'll touch the light blue. I'm going to touch OK. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch this paint bucket because I want it to paint the entire design and not just a little bit of the design, okay? This right here literally allows you to paint like a paintbrush, but this fills in the entire design. So let's touch this, and then I'm just going to touch outline out of the design, and it gives me that fill. So now it's very easy now to get from here to the embroidery screen because all you have to do is touch next, okay? And then there are some controls that we'll talk about in just a few minutes, but I'm going to touch preview. I'm going to touch OK. And give it a second to, and then set and OK. And there's my design. Isn't that nice? So won't that look really pretty as a wall hanging or I don't know. I like the idea of a wall hanging, okay? So as a wall hanging, let's think about this, okay? I mean, how could I make this into a wall hanging? Well, the cool thing is that I can create a wall hanging in IQ Designer. All I have to do is go into IQ Designer and create a square this size. And then all I have to do is, after I have embroidered all of this, I'll lay a piece of fabric on top of my hoop and I'll stitch that square, okay? And I'll leave a little opening in it so that I can flip it. And then I'll stitch some ribbon on it and I'll have a wall hanging, all right? Super easy. I've made several that have welcome signs, that have all sorts of Bible verses or poems or recipes. It's really fun to do that. Okay, speaking of that, let's go now into our alphabets. Excuse me. So we're going to, I like this enough. I think I'm going to save that. I'm going to put that in my memory, put that in my machine's memory. So now I know that I can always come back to that and stitch it out sometime at some point. All right, so I'm going to go back to the home screen. Okay, and now I want to show you kind of a really fun thing to do, okay? And that's something that we can do with alphabet, but also something that we can in order to get perfect placement, okay? So what I'm going to show you how to use the alphabet first, but then I want to show you how we can get perfect placement using an app on our telephone, on our smartphones, that is a free download. That enables you to see a picture of what you've hooped in the machine and enables you to position perfectly. So here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my alphabets and I'm going to go into the tiny print, okay? And I'm going to put initials on a man's shirt, okay? So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to do an H, and then an S, and then a G, okay? So I'm going to touch set, okay? Now that's really tiny. Look how tiny that is. That's because I want it to go above a pocket, okay? Just a little bitty initial above a pocket. Now let me show you how easy it is to take a picture of your shirt. If you can take a picture with your smartphone, and I know all of you use your smartphone to take pictures, but if you can take a picture with your smartphone, then you can absolutely use this app. So let me show you how it works. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to hoop your fabric. So let me pull that up so that you can see where I hooped it. Okay. Here's my man's shirt that I hooped. Okay. Okay. So you can see that there's the pocket, and what I want to do is I want to embroider. I want the initials to go right above that pocket. Okay. And it's kind of tricky to do that, right? It's not easy to get it perfectly straight, but that's what I want to do. I need to get it perfectly straight right above that pocket. Okay. So all I have to do is get my smartphone. Okay. And let me pull up the app so that you can see the app.
Milinda?
Yes?
Am I correct in saying that you have to have the specific hoop that has the little sensors on it?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes. Do you see these little sensors right here? These are the hoops that come with the Altair. And if you use the hoops that come with the Altair, then you will be able to hoop this. And I've hooped this one backwards just because I got in a hurry trying to get this ready. So give me just a second. Let's redo it. So you can see that all of the Altair hoops, and I'll show you this one also, all the Altair hoops have those funny little designs across the top. And what that does is that enables your app to read the design on your, and then transfer it to your machine, okay? So let me rehoop this.
And while you're rehooping that, I just want to clarify that this will enable you to use the app, but you can also use other hoops. You're just not able to utilize the app with those hoops, correct?
That is correct. And I do love my 5x7 magnetic hoop that you can use with this machine. And it doesn't allow you to use the app, but that 5x7 magnetic hoop is pretty awesome. As is the 7x14. They're life changing. Okay. All right. So I've hooped it. Let me just tighten it up a little bit. And then I'll show you what this app looks like. Okay. All right. All right, so it says IQ positioning app. Okay, right here. All right, so I'm going to touch the IQ positioning app, and then I'm going to photo frame for easy positioning. And then what it's asking me to do is take a picture, okay? So I have to hold my device, and then it holds 3, 2, 1, takes a picture, and now it says send to the machine. Uh-oh. Okay, let me do it again, y'all. Let me see if it's gonna, okay. All right, let's try it one more time. Wait just a second, let me do it over here. Okay, so now it asks me to see, it's taking this picture and it's asking me to send it to the machine. So I'm going to send it to the machine. And then what pops up on the machine is this. It says the image was sent from the mobile app. Do I want to update? And the answer is okay. Okay, so now it's asking me to attach the frame that I used in the image. So I'm going to attach the frame to my machine. And that's my little 5x7. Okay. Okay, so there's my 5x7. I've attached it to the machine. I'm going to touch OK. Okay. Lock down the frame. Okay, so look. Now it shows on my screen. How about that, right? So let's touch edit, okay? And I'm going to move my little HSJ up. And I'm going to tilt it. I think I'm going to tilt it just a little bit. I mean, right there in the middle. Let's see. I'm going to edit. And the wonderful thing about this rotate is that, can you see that? Am I showing you? Yeah, okay. So the wonderful thing about this rotate is I can rotate it to teeny tiny in increments of 1 degree or even increments of 0.1 degree. So I need to tilt it just a little bit because I think I've got it tilted just a little bit at my hoop. Okay. All right. So now I am ready to embroider, but I also think I want to make that a little bit bigger. Okay, that's a little bit tiny. So I'm going to size it, and I'm going to increase the size a little bit. Yeah, there we go. At least we can see that. Okay, so I'm going to touch OK, and I'm going to touch embroidery. All right, and then I'm going to put a little stabilizer underneath it. And I'm doing a teeny tiny, as you can see, this is a teeny tiny embroidery here. And I'm doing something called floating. Okay. All right. And so you can watch it embroider. Kind of hard to see because the pocket's kind of in the way. Okay, and there's my teeny tiny little embroidery. Let me pull it out so that you can see it. All right, there it is. Right above. Okay? All right. So, perfect placement with this machine. Absolutely perfect placement. Okay? All right. So, are there any questions at this point, Trish?
We do have a couple questions here. Sandy is asking, how big is the memory? Is there an external SD card or something to have the memory unlimited?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we have a couple of well, actually, I'll show you this in just a second, but there is plenty of memory in this machine, okay? So you've got an SD slot, and you also have 2 flash drive slots, all right? And let me show you those, all right? All right, so there you have, you've got your flash drive slots and then your SD slot here. But the main thing is also you have the ability to okay, wait, let me tell you the best part. Okay, that's great that we have all that memory and that you can put into the machine, but that's kind of like old school memory, right? That's like, but you can transfer things wirelessly to this machine. You can use your Palette 11 software, or you can use our new app that enables you to transfer wirelessly from your computer to the machine. So memory, therefore, is pretty much unlimited. Okay. All right. Do we have another question?
We do. Tammy, first off, she has 550,000 embroidery designs.
Whoa.
Incredible.
I love it.
I assume this machine is USB compatible. Yeah. You kind of showed that already.
Yes, so it is definitely USB compatible. Absolutely. Yeah, it is.
With that amount of embroidery designs, could you touch on the design database, database transfer? There we go.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely want to use the design database transfer with that. Absolutely. That's awesome. That might be a record. That might be the Guinness Book of World Records. Okay. All right. Let me turn this light off so we can go back to the screen. Okay. So now that is, I didn't have a chance to show you everything that you're, golly, we're about to run out of time. I haven't gotten so inside. Okay. Trust me that there's some really cool things that you can do with the alphabet. Let me show you this really, really fast. Let me go over here at home. Okay, and let's go back to embroidery. All right. Gosh, I thought I was going to have so much time. Okay, here we go. And let's just say I decide that I want to write in this alphabet, but then I'm not really sure if I like that alphabet. And so what I'm going to do, turn this off. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to audition alphabets. All right, there's that one. Let's see if maybe it looks better like that. Maybe it looks better like that. Maybe it looks better like that. And what about if I want to do the entire, okay? So let's go to edit. Let's go here. And now it's going to do the whole thing. Okay, so you can change the script either on individual or on the entire word. Okay, so it's really fun to audition those alphabets. Okay, so I'm going to now move us over to the sewing side. Whew, I didn't really get to show you IQ Designer. I want to show you one more thing about IQ Designer.
Melinda.
Yes.
Don't worry on the time. You're still fine. You can go up to 3 o'clock if you'd like. So you've got about 15 to 20 minutes if you'd like.
Okay, great. Okay, well, let me show you, because there's so many things on this machine. It is so hard to show everything. Okay. All right, let me show you this IQ Design. This is really fun. You can stitch on all sorts of fabrics with this machine. And one of the things that I really love to do is I love to stitch on leather. And let me show you this little in the hoop leather bag I made. Actually, there are several that I made, but this little bumblebee one is one of my favorites, okay? And that's all done on leather. It's all done in the hoop. It's a little zipped bag, all right? Now, all of these are IQ Designer bags, okay? And by IQ Designer, what I mean is that I brought these designs into IQ Designer from Adobe Illustrator, and then I used IQ Designer as a coloring book, okay? This is another leather bag that I did, and that's using that region fills, the region fills that I showed you. That's just the region fill without anything above it or below it. Okay, and then this is just a design that's built into the machine. But what I want to do right now is I want to show you how much fun it is to make these bumblebees, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm in IQ Designer, and it's like a coloring book, okay? IQ Designer is a lot of fun. It is just like a coloring book. So I apologize for that glare. Okay, so I'm going to touch line design, and then I'm going to touch, I think it's that one. It might not be that one, but let me see. Nope, not that one.
Those are pretty cute too.
They're really fun. Okay, there's so much fun to fill those in. I'm telling you, it's super, super, super fun.
Not quite as cute as the gnome, right?
Okay, right? Okay, I don't know what happened. Now I've lost my bumblebee. Okay, well, I'm going to show you I'm just going to show you we're all in this together because my bumblebee has disappeared. I might have accidentally erased it. All right, so I'm going to touch set. All right. And you can see right here, I've got this. And all I did, y'all, this is just, I took a picture of a coloring book, okay? I took a picture of a, oh man, that glare so bad. Okay, I took a picture of a page in a coloring book and transferred it. Man, you can see. Okay, let me turn the light off. That might help. Let's turn this light off. I love going into the settings. The settings will let you do all sorts of cool things. But I'm going to turn my light completely off. Okay, now see if you can see that a little bit better. Is that any better at all? Maybe.
That looks great.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to go into, I'm going to touch OK. I'm going to touch set. Okay, now let's say that I just want to, now this is all already, this is going to be stitched, okay? These stitches are already ready. But let's say that I want to make the all, I don't know, I'm back to blue and green, okay? So, but how about purple and pink? Let's do purple and pink. I didn't mean to hit that. So I'm going to go into my region fills, and I'm just going to do the regular fill, okay? And I'm going to touch pink, okay? So here's my pink. And now what I'm going to do is touch my paint can, and then I'm going to make, not the whole thing. I didn't want to do that. Uh-oh, okay. I want to do my letters pink. Oh, that was not going to let me do it. That means that there's a hole in one of these lines. And so what you have to do is you have to blow it up and find where the hole is. Okay, but let's go back. Let's go back, make it smaller. Okay. Okay. And then let's say that we want to color these flowers, I don't know, purple. Okay. The point is that you can go in here and you can make these any color that you want. Okay. And what you're doing is you're actually creating stitches in here. All right. So let's go right here and let's do another one. So we can make those stitches like that. Let's do the outside of the awl and see if that helps us. Oops, did it again. Let me blow it up and see if I can get the outside. There we go. Maybe not. Nope. So IQ Designer is very picky about if there's a hole in your design, then it's going to color the entire thing. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But here, let's color this little flower. Now, imagine doing this to the entire design. Okay. I'm going to touch next. And then what you're going to see is that you've got stitches on your design already. Now, this is kind of a complicated design. And so the stitches are, let's pull it up. Yeah. So you can see it's stitching out. Now, these are satin stitches, and you could change that. Instead of satin stitches, you could make it, just like a bean stitch. But you see that those are all stitches, okay? And if we want to put that into our memory, then we can do that. But y'all, it's so much fun to take designs into IQ Designer and turn them into, just beautiful designs like this. This was just a flower that I brought in from Adobe Illustrator and then colored it in and assigned different stitches. And the same thing with these little bumblebees. I just assigned different stitches to it and also in IQ Designer, I made the design for the bag. So that's just another one of the many things that you can do in IQ Designer. That's a class that I teach that's really fun, is making those bags. Okay, let's go now home and let's touch OK. And now let's spend just a few minutes on the sewing side of this machine. Okay, and Trish, stop me whenever I run out of time, okay?
I sure will. And I do have to ask, can you make sure to show the never miss automatic needle threader? Because I love that thing.
I know that it is such a wonderful thing. I so agree. Give me just a second, okay?
And I'll be sure to let you know when time is up. So
Okay.
we're good.
And can you read the chat, Trish?
Yeah, I can double check and see if we have any
That
questions.
the private chat. Yeah. So can you read the private chat to Brian?
Oh.
Okay. So let's look at it. Let's have a look at first what's so wonderful about the sewing side of the machine. Okay. So 771 sewing stitches. Okay. I mean, that's outrageous. Okay. That is a lot of sewing stitches. I'm not sure I could ever use all those stitches in my lifetime, but I could sure have a good time trying. One of the other things about this machine is that it has a needle beam that enables you to sew straight stitches. Okay. So let me show you kind of what that looks like whenever you have fabric beneath it. Now I don't have my, it's asking me to remove my LED pointer. So let me get this off. And that's another fun thing. So that's something I didn't mention on this is there's actually a light on this, on the, so on your W plus embroidery foot, there's a light, a beam of light that shows you the very center of your designs, okay? And so that's just really something that is fun to have a look at. Okay, but before I do this, let me go over here and show you the mini stitches. And after I show you the mini stitches, I'm going to show you that needle beam. But that is if we have enough time. Okay. All right. So here we go right here. Several of the things that are really fun are that you've got all sorts of control over your machine. So the first thing that you can control is the needle beam. Okay. And you can make that needle beam. Can you see that? How bright that is? Okay.
Yep, we can see it.
And so what you can do with that needle beam is you can move it over so that you've got a perfect quarter inch seam. So you put the needle beam on the edge of your fabric and you'll know always that you're stitching a perfect quarter inch seam. You can put the needle beam right where the needle is, and that way you can just sew, straight, sew a straight fabric, or you can put the needle beam a quarter inch to the left of your needle if you need to sew a quarter inch seam on that side. So this is really wonderful for doing decorative stitches and for just sewing straight. I mean, it's really incredibly helpful. So that's your needle beam. Now the other controls that you have here is that you have the control so that you see right up here, that little bitty, that's a back stitch. And what this does is it backs up and stitches 3 times, okay? And it kind of goes back and forward. In order to make it do that, what you want to do is you touch this, and that makes it automatically stitch backwards and forwards when you begin stitching and when you end stitching, okay? Now this right here is showing you where your needle beam is. So this is my stitch line, and this is my needle beam line. Okay, so let me move that back over. Okay, so let me clarify that because I didn't make that very clear. All right, when you start stitching with these stitches that have this little back thing, okay, there's one right there, and what it does is stitches backwards and forward when you begin your stitching, and then if you touch this at the end, then it will also secure your stitches by stitching back and forward. And then if you have this on, it'll automatically cut your stitches, okay? If you're sewing on a lightweight fabric, then you might want to use this one because instead of sewing backwards and forwards, this stabilizes your stitch by stitching in the same place 3 times, okay? So you would begin stitching, stitch 3 times in place, and then when you end, again, you're going to touch your this reverse key, and what that's going to do is it's going to stitch 3 times at the end, straight in, and that way on your lightweight fabrics, then it's a little bit easier. Okay, all right. So the other thing that you can do is you can increase or decrease the length and width of your stitches. All right, there's no width on this because this is a straight stitch, but you can increase your length. Okay, you can decrease your length. All right, and it defaults if you ever forget where it goes, it defaults right there on the black, okay? All right, some of the cool stitches as a machine has is it has something called directional stitching, all right? And what the machine does is it literally, this is great for sewing on patches, because what the machine does is it sews up, it'll sew down, it'll sew side to side, okay? So you can put a patch on the bed of the machine, and that machine will stitch this way, and then it'll stitch this way, and then this way. That is a really wonderful part of this machine, because that enables you to do patches on little bitty, like the inside of your pant leg, if you want to put, or on your shoulder or your sleeve, or a small bag. I've put patches on small bags before using this. And also, this is great for just stitching bag handles on. Whenever you have to make that, that square on bag handles, that helps you do that really, really easily. Okay, so then you've got, of course, several buttonholes. You've got, several stitches. But one cool thing about this machine is, let's say I don't really know what this stitch is, okay? Well, I can actually go to this question mark at the top of my screen, okay? And if I touch pattern explanation, what that tells me is that that's the smocking stitch, and that the smocking stitch requires the J-foot on the machine. And it's for smocking and decorative stitching. So all of the stitches on this machine have a pattern explanation in case you're not sure what that stitch is used for, okay? And on that note, as you could see, the machine has built-in videos that will show you how to wind the bobbin, how to thread the machine, how to thread the needle, how to change your feet, and how to add the thread stand, okay? It'll tell you how to maintain, it'll give you specific settings, it'll show you how to use different things, okay? How to use the positioning app. The videos are really very helpful if you're just learning how to use the machine. Okay, so let's go back. Another thing that's very helpful is the pivot feature, okay? And so what that does is whenever I don't know if you've ever gotten to the end of if you're trying to sew a square, like for example, this square right here on this napkin, and when you're trying to turn, it's so nice to be able to just lift the presser foot a little bit and have that needle stay in and turn the machine, okay? And so that's what happens whenever you use that pivot. All right. Now let's go over to, let's spend a little time with the character and decorative stitches. Okay, so here we have our character and decorative stitches. So let's just look at a couple of these, all right? So we're going to go down here, and I want to show you some of the fun things that you can do with these also. Let's get this, drop that. So you can see all these wonderful, you have a zillion stitches in here, okay? I don't know why that's like, I didn't mean to do that. Nope. Okay, let's go to, all right, so let's choose one of these, okay? And let's look at another kind of fun thing that you can do with this machine. This is telling me that I need to use my infoot, okay? This is showing me the actual size, so it says 100% right there. But there are some cool things I can do editing this design. So these little lines down here enable me to do some directional stitching, okay? All right, so now watch. So I just touch this arrow, and see how it makes it go the opposite direction? All right? You can make some really fun designs like that. And then once you have created sort of a pattern, if you touch this icon, then that pattern extends all the way across the page. So see that? Okay. Now you can add all sorts of different stitches together also. The machine enable allows you to do that, but that's something that is the step feature. And then one of the other things that I want to talk to you about very quickly, and this is the last thing that I'll talk about, and that is how easy it is to do quilting on this machine. So here's our quilting layout. These are all quilting stitches, and the quilting straight stitch, okay, there's our straight stitch. And you know, this looks very much like the just plain utility stitches, okay, and I'll show you the plain utility stitch straight stitch. Let's look at the difference between the utility straight stitch and the quilting straight stitch. The utility straight stitch is 2.5 inches in millimeters in length. Let's look at that quilting straight stitch, okay? The quilting straight stitch, 2 millimeters in length, okay? So as you know, those of you who are quilters, you want that stitch length to be more controlled, and so you're going to want it to be 2 millimeters instead of 2.5 millimeters, all right? But here's all the stitches that you can use as a quilter. But the most important thing about this machine, I think, for quilters, is this fantastic digital dual feed foot, okay? Now, the digital dual feed foot enables you, and let me get this down here so that you can see it a little bit better. Turn the light on. This enables you to make sure that your fabric stays together, all right? Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to quilt with two different weights of fabric, okay? Sometimes if you have a lightweight fabric on top and you have a heavyweight fabric on the bottom, what happens is that lightweight fabric tends to move more than your heavyweight fabric does. Well, this digital dual foot is belt driven, okay? And so let me show you what that means. It's belt driven, okay? And it attaches to to your machine so that you can control how fast or slow that belt moves. And so when you have a heavyweight fabric at the top, you can make that belt move faster so that it will pull the heavyweight fabric in. But if you have a lightweight fabric on top, you can slow that movement down so that your two pieces of fabric actually move through your machine together. Okay. All right, so let me change my camera here. Okay, all right, so there's so much on this machine that I could show you guys, and honestly, it would take me 3 days probably to show you everything the machine does, but I hope that you've gotten some idea of the fun things that you can do on this machine. Are there any more questions, Trish?
Thank you, Milinda. There are a couple questions. I know we're cutting it close for time, but
Okay.
One is, what is the largest size hoop that this machine can take?
9.5 by 14. It's huge.
And I love this one by Ronnie. She says, I would need a 3-hour training class. But Ronnie, guess what? With the purchase of this machine, you actually get Babylock sew-ed classes, 6 months. So I know Milinda can attest to this. The sew-ed classes are amazing. So
yes, they really are. And the sew-ed class on this machine is fantastic. It's divided into 3 parts: embroidery, IQ designer, and sewing. It took 3 classes to teach all 3 of those things. So yeah.
I love it. Yeah, there's so much. That's why I was so excited about this machine. And I'm going to go into pricing here in a little bit, but there's just so much that you can do with it. There's so many awesome features. I completely forgot about the directional sewing. I was like, oh man.
Right. I use it to make handbags. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Well, do you want to stick around while we do our giveaway quick, and then I can go into pricing and let you go? Again, I just want to say thank you for the last minute coming on and helping us out. We really, really appreciate it, and you did an awesome job.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. I really appreciate your having me here. Thank you so much, Trish.
You're welcome. Let's go ahead and do our giveaway, and we will see who the lucky winner is of the $100 Sewing Parts Online gift card. I love getting all the good stuff and things, right? You can get all the notions that you want. Linda Lade, congratulations. All right, Milinda. Well, thank you so much, and you have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you.